Hey, Bloomies. It's your girl, Chris with a K, and I'm here with the lovely, amazing, inspiring, motivating, traveling Arielle. I've been following Arielle for a long time now, really since the COVID years on Twitter. And you may be familiar with her beautiful face from the salad eating meme, but we're going to allow Miss Arielle to introduce herself to the Bloomies. Hey.
Hi, Bloomies. That's such a beautiful name.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited to be a part of gang right now.
Listen, you are. Anybody that's been on, I'm like, you are officially if I wanted to have you on my show is because I connect with you in a way that I feel the Bloomies will. So you're an honorary Bloomie.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, hi everyone. My name is Arielle Simone, and I'm a holistic nutritionist. I help people have a better relationship with food and with their bodies. So it just looks like having a harmonious, flowing, intuitive relationship with food and with your habits and with your time and paying attention to things that allow you to blossom. Huh? Bloomy?
Hey.
But also paying attention to things that drain you and take your energy away and learning what energetic capital is and how to manage that. So, yeah, I would say that's my specialty. And the subspecialties are gut health, plant-based eating, and emotional eating. I am a mind body eating coach, a certified mind body eating coach, and also a certified holistic nutritionist.
Okay, come on.
Yes, yes. I was gonna say license, and I was just like, technically, it's not a license, so like, it
Okay.
is a certification. Yeah.
That is a good distinction to put out there because people tend to mislabel things. So,
They do,
okay.
yeah.
Either way,
Yeah,
professional and you know your things, okay?
I do, and I've been doing this for a very long time. I used to be a model and then personal trainer for a few years, and then nutritionist, and then holistic nutritionist, and then I was like, "Oh, it's really habits, and it's really our
Mm.
relationship with food, and it's really food conditioning and the trauma we have around food." My body eating coach. So I went to the psychology of eating to get certified in that.
Oh, that is such an integral part to have, and just even to hear about your trajectory and what brought you into it, you almost needed that foundation in modeling and how unhealthy and toxic that industry is to then lead you into finding a healthy way of coping and managing your relationship with food, and then teaching that
Abs
to other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's
Wow.
how I even got here.
Wow, that's such a beautiful journey. So how are you? How have you been blooming lately?
Oh my God, I love this question. Lately, I've been blooming in the arena of self-trust. I've been learning how to trust myself a lot more, and I feel like that's not always an easy thing to do. I think people hear self-trust or self-love, and it's like flowers and cute dates for yourself. And I'm like, no, it's being able to trust yourself the moment you say something. It's being able to trust your decisions. It's being able to lean into yourself and know how to actively listen. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's really, really, really hard. And I'm recognizing that it requires this sort of like practice to enhance like muscle memory. So I can read the room with my body, like, ooh, this felt good last time. Let me do
Mhm.
that again. Ooh, this didn't feel good last time. Let me not. So like paying attention to things like that. So I would say I've been blooming and like trusting myself and my decisions.
Okay, so do you feel that this space of blooming that you're in also has to do with the seasons? Because I bring that up because you have really awesome videos on your YouTube. If you do not know this, you guys need to check out Ariel on YouTube. But one of your videos,
Yes.
you were talking about just how the different seasons affect us. And of course, we always hear about seasonal depression and um, but us as humans, like if we are tapped into the earth, like we do get affected by the seasons, by the environment around us. And you have a very great breakdown about the months and what that aligns with us to do. So like February was all about it was like romance, but not just with another partner. It was for yourself and self evolution and exploration and all of that. So would you say talk about that a bit more? How you broke that down?
Yeah, so that's actually lately been one of my most viral posts, how January is all about rest,
Hmm.
restoration, recovery, and just hibernation. Winter, it does depend on where you're at because then in Africa right now is their summer. So I do think geographically speaking, you have to like read the room on that. But we're on the East Coast or just in America, period. And over here it is winter, smack at the peak of winter right now in February. January is all about hibernation. Also, during the winter times, our bodies require a lot more energy to it expends a lot more
Mm,
energy in order to stay warm. Just in order to
mm.
stay warm, we are using a lot of thermal energy, and what we need in return of that is more rest. We need to recover from the energy that we're extending out. That looks like also eating the right foods. So it would look like more warm foods, more soups, more broths, more sauteed dishes, more sauteed rice dishes, but also adding in broths in your rice so we can add more of a soupy feel to it. This is also the season where we need to eat a lot more grounding foods, more potatoes, carrots, beets, rutabagas, onions, parsnips, things like that. Like making sure that we're having like roasted good vegetables, things that literally come from the ground so we can remain grounded. Everything is kind of very scientific, but in the same breath,
Mhm.
very spiritual. So once we combine both, it turns into this like integrative whole body system that allows us to ebb and flow with nature, with food, and with our bodies.
Oh, that just sounds so relaxing and just it sounded very grounding, even just the way that you were explaining it. Because I myself, and I'm sure a lot of people do, they do seek that cozy comfort food, whether it is to help alleviate any seasonal depression or anxiety or just the weather. Like you just find yourself wanting like warm, and that is broth, soups, chilies.
Chilies.
Listen, and then when you mentioned the root vegetable, a lot of like yam, potatoes, yuca, especially with like
Mm-hmm.
lighter things like fish or bacalao for, people who eat that.
Yes.
Because you do kind of want that balance. I guess we are seeking that comfort and that grounding, especially when seasons are changing. You're trying to find something. So it's so interesting how aligned we are with nature, even though we're too distracted
Yeah.
to keep up with it.
It's the phones. It's the phones. It's the phones. The phones got us in a chokehold. It really is the phones.
It
It has,
is.
yeah, it has distracted us from the basics.
I will push that and say it's social media and the internet because being a millennial, I love the phone, but the phone was mainly talking and connecting with people. But the
Yeah.
distractions, because I'm always on my phone, but I find myself not wanting to be actively talking on the phone as much,
Why do you think
unless it's
that is
FaceTime.
so?
I just, there's so many other escapes, but I realize my previous, um, connections rather by just being on the phone all the time, I was using it as a distraction from processing and dealing with my own stuff. So I was
Mhm.
always available. I was the homegirl that was like the therapist friend, just making myself available
Mhm.
that way. But now that I have set up boundaries in place, I'm also using that as a distraction, is social media and like doom scrolling and all the things. So it's just different diversion, ultimately the same
Mhm.
issue is the distraction. But I have even gotten better at like, no, I miss like just reading a book and like doing things away from this screen. I find myself taking breaks more or just listening to podcasts or audiobooks now. I've been embracing
Yeah.
audiobooks. I've been so against
Yeah.
it
I love a
weirdly.
good audiobook. Have you tried
Listen.
immersive reading, like an audiobook while
Oh,
also turning the pages?
no. Talk
Game
about it.
changer. Game changer.
Really?
It feels so good, and especially if the author is reading it. Like, I did it with
I've
Becoming by Michelle Obama. It was so good to actually hold the book, turn the pages while I'm listening to her read it. I was like, "Oh my
Ooh.
god." Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna have to try
Quinta,
that.
it's so good. It's so good.
Because for me, and this is like a little tangent, but like there was this book that I've been trying to read for like the past year, and I'm like, I want to read the book. I have the book. I want to smell the pages of the book. I'm one of those, but just being a little neurospicy and being so
Mhm.
distracted, just the thought of trying to get focused enough, like I would find myself rereading the same pages because I would like
Yes.
read it and then like go off like, oh. I was supposed to do this, I was supposed to, and then go back to reading.
Right.
So when I did the audiobook version, because I had read most of the book, it was easy for me to like jump in that way and then finally finish the book in like a matter of 3 days, which was really frustrating that I was able to do it that way. But I might try the immersive reading. I think that'll help me.
Yeah, it forces you to be fully present because it's so many
Absolutely.
different senses that are locked in. You got touch,
Absolutely.
you can still
Mhm.
smell, and then
Mhm.
also hearing, looking. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of the senses that fire up, and especially if you're neurospicy and you need to lock in, it's such a beautiful way to lock in. And I like to just consider that a date,
Yeah.
especially if it start
Ooh.
raining. Oh, if it start
Oh,
raining, I get up
come
under that
on.
window.
Listen, you better paint the scene, and I'm all about lights and things, as you can tell. I like to curate a mood, a space. I
Mhm.
just kind of seen, like, the backdrop to, like, a lo-fi video when you mentioned that. It's always some girl, like, by a
Yes.
window, and it's raining, and there's a cat or
Yeah.
something in the back. Cozy vibes, just
She
bringing it
got a little
into it.
drink, all that.
Listen.
Nice warm bevy. Just nice, something cute.
And depending
Yeah.
on what
I
you're
highly
reading,
recommend.
the imagination starts to flowing. Because my imagination was my safe space growing up. That was my favorite room to be in, was my imagination. I have a whole
That's a
world.
bar.
Listen, but yeah.
That's a bar.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you and what I love so much about following you is, like, your travels.
Ah,
So I
isn't it
definitely wanna
exciting?
wanna get into that, because you clearly move with intention and you are very tapped in to what fuels your soul, but also, regulates your nervous system. So we kind of touch base a little bit on the food aspect and like paying attention to the cues and things and when we kind of want those foods and or what we should have seasonally just to kind of help our bodies balance out. But in terms of travel, I want to go into how that has helped you with regulating your system because like you, I am a native New Yorker, born and raised. And, we had a little discussion about all of the ways that New Yorkers, we are prideful about the hustle and bustle and being tough and can't nobody mess with us. And just like we have this hardness that we honor as our protective shield, but it also is so heavy.
So heavy.
How has travel helped you to regulate your nervous system? Because us New Yorkers, boy, we be going through it. No matter, even if we
No.
move from New York, we just hold on to that.
We hold on to it. A few things I want to say about being from New York. So for a really long
Yes.
time, I felt like I was traveling from a space of scarcity, like escaping, having to get away, don't like my life. Like it was always from this space of like, gotta go.
Mhm.
And I realized being in so many different countries, I have traveled to Costa Rica, Tanzania, Mozambique, Zanzibar, Peru, Chile, Ecuador, like the list goes on. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to travel through Africa, South and Central America. I'm very, very grateful. I do need to travel in the States more. I have not really been to that many states. I've been to like 4 states. But yeah, I've traveled so, so much. And I've noticed no matter where I'm at in the world, everybody know where New York City is. Everybody.
Mm,
Everybody knows where New York City. I feel like if I was somewhere else, they'd be like, "Where's that?" I'm always saying New York City. And I realized too, a lot of people know Brooklyn and a lot of people know Manhattan. So
mm,
yeah, yeah, it's I don't wanna say the capital of the world, but it's one of those cities where no matter where you are, people know where you are from, which is
mhm,
very, very important. I also feel like New York has I don't wanna say traumatized, but it has conditioned me to always have your head on a swivel.
mhm,
Like, everything I'm paying attention to everything all the time, and I'm outgoing, I'm friendly, I'm energetic, I'm talkative, and when you are in new countries and you are experiencing a piece of their culture, it is important to be curious and energetic and humble and just asking questions to be a part of things and just learning about the world. So I would say in the same breath that New York City has hardened me, it also has introduced me to be more soft in certain areas of my life. And
mm,
yeah, and I am finally in a space where I can allow softness to expand. Like, I used to feel like this hardness was a badge of honor, like, nobody will play with me, nobody will steal from me, nobody would get one over on me, and now I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, okay, it happened," or I'm also like, "How can I give?" Versus like, "You're not
Yeah.
gonna take nothing from me." Like, no, what can I give you right now? What would that look like? What would giving and supporting you look like right now? So it has definitely changed my relationship with softness and hardness. I also feel like New York has this power to it that makes you feel like you should always be doing more. The New York minute
Mm.
is real. It one thing that was really affected me with being in New York was the time and the pace of the city. It encourages you to rush a lot, to have anxiety. It's very anxiety inducing, and it has created this system of a very poor relationship with time. For me,
Mm.
that was my
Mhm.
experience. I always felt like I was behind the minute all the time.
Mm.
That's such bad energy to always rush. Like when you're constantly rushing, you can feel yourself vibrating low because you're forgetting things. You're aggravated,
Mm.
irritable. Everything start feeling like it's in your way. No, and then you start feeling like life is doing something to you and not really for you.
Mm.
So it just starts feeling like takes and things are grabbing from you when life just shouldn't feel like that. So I had to quickly learn when I moved to Mexico. I was like, "Oh, everybody walks slow. Everybody talks slow.
Mm.
Everybody eats slow." And it takes a lot of adjusting. Anytime I'm running late to my dentist or my Pilates or any of my appointments, I'm always like rushing in, like, "I'm so sorry." And they're always like, "Tranquilo, tranquilo, mami, tranquilo." Like, all is well in the world. Just relax. It never gave anxiety. So just take your time
Yeah.
with your time. And I don't realize how impactful and important it is to breathe slowly, look
Mm.
around at things slowly, absorb things slowly. It creates a better relationship with seconds because everything starts feeling longer when you're more present. So
Mm.
I just I'm so grateful, and at first, it made me uncomfortable. I was like, "Oh, everybody walking so slow." Ah.
Girl,
And
that's me
then
right now. I live in Florida, and I've always never at this point, I guess I'm gonna say it out loud, but I've lived in Florida longer than I care to longer than I care to claim, because again, that New York badge of honor, honey. I'm Brooklyn through and through. Brooklyn Bridge on my
Right.
wrist, okay?
Right.
But there is something God, is it Stockholm syndrome?
Ri Are we?
Are we in love with our captor? Um, and I feel and it's so interesting because as much as New York is rough and tough and like only the strongest survive, like you get that kind of messaging and that conditioning, and you do have to keep your head on a swivel. And New Yorkers are kind, not nice. Like if we need to help somebody out, yeah, it's mostly to get you out of my way, but it also benefits you by helping you in your situation, just keep things moving, nothing stopping. Like how desensitized we are when somebody jumps on the track. And it's like, "Oh, train traffic." Like, the
Imma
fact
be
that that is
late.
our response. It's like, "Oh, why couldn't they do this later?" It's like, somebody lost their life,
Yeah,
you
let's
know? So
hold
it
space
it
for
is
that.
it is tough. There are aspects of it that I like to hold on to as part of my identity. There is a certain energy that helps to push you and motivate you to keep going, especially when you're facing so many hardship. It's just super expensive. You're trying to make ends meet. So if everyone's on that same energy of like grind and hustle, hustle, doing things, and then after you've been doing all that, you can at least try to have some fun and do like there's so many things you can do. It is just overstimulating and your nervous system is shot, but we don't realize what that is. And a lot of us are
Shot.
seeking coping mechanisms, doing all kinds of things, acting out. I mean, we saw that
Always
during COVID when
weeds.
everybody had to
Oh,
be
yes.
inside and just not realizing that they now have to deal with whatever distractions, they were using, or just not being able to process what they've seen or experienced going through that, or past traumas
Yeah.
coming up now because you have nothing better to do but stay at home because we all have to quarantine, like it was like a pressure cooker effect, and people have been
Absolutely.
seeing, like, all of that come from it. Um, but now that I have been away from living in New York consistently, I go and visit often because I do miss that. I guess it's that dopamine. I'm like, I need
Mhm.
that to help me, like, tap back in. I need the New York water to activate the powers to help me sustain while I'm down
Yes.
here.
No,
Um,
absolutely, but New York always
yeah.
get visit.
Oh, yeah. Because
It
I
always
what
gets
I love
visit.
so much is, like, and just going back to my, like, earlier point of bringing this up is there is that beauty of the melting pot of cultures, which I'm sure is the
Absolutely.
foundation that helped you springboard into traveling because we are exposed and we get to interact with so many different people. We technically are the capital of North America. I
It's
mean,
no, I would say the world. I
of the
would
world,
say the
really.
world.
So many
Yeah, I
people
grew
have
up
that as
around
their
so many.
yeah, so many
Mhm.
people have that as their dream place to go to. So being able to be afforded that ability to grow up around that, you are so much
Absolutely.
more culturally aware and culturally sensitive, and like so
Yeah.
being able to see, oh, I've experienced a taste of that culture. Like I want to go to that country and explore more. Like we just have a
Mhm.
different foundation or view, at least, commonly that is the experience there. But once you've moved away, you have been able to travel abroad, and have also lived abroad. I know you mentioned that there was that adjustment period that was tough when you moved away. Was there any grieving that took place of like that New Yorker identity or just your experience that you had to it was no longer applicable to your current surroundings, especially you said like the complete opposite was to slow down,
Yeah.
chill. Like what was that like for you?
So for starters, I had to grieve a I had a very intense relationship with ambition, and I had to
Mm,
grieve my relationship with work. You mentioned New York being very expensive. New York is so expensive, and here's my only beef with being expensive because I don't mind when things are expensive, especially if the quality is there, especially when it's encouraging me to rise to the occasion. I have a beautiful relationship with things being expensive if it is worth it.
mhm,
New York is just too much for too little. You're paying
mm.
$3,000 to live in a box. Like, you go to LA, you go anywhere else, and you got your 3K, you're getting a pool and a yard, and your dog can roam. And, like, it's just so, so, so much more. And I think that it naturally and subconsciously forces you to kind of move from a space of scarcity that in order to feel like I made it in New York, I had to at least be making 5 figures a month,
Mm,
at least, and that's not even enough. $10,000 a month is not even enough to me in New York. So what I'm basically trying to say though, as far as my relationship with work, New York has this energy of like, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, and that is a very tough pill to swallow when you are releasing that type of idea. That's not
mm.
true. That's not true. You can make it anywhere. But at first I didn't believe it. I was like, I'm leaving. I didn't make it. And then I had to ask myself, what is making it? Let's get clear on
Ooh,
that. What is making it? What is success? What
yes.
do I want work to look like? How can work still be fulfilling? What is work?
Mm.
How do I
That
want to
is,
make
those are
money?
Those are great questions because especially when you get to a certain point in adulthood where you start to question or challenge all of the foundational like values that you were brought up on or experience in your environment. Like you do question like what does success mean like to me? Especially if you don't feel aligned with what success was told you should want or
Absolutely.
like
And I
the
would take it
American dream. Like I don't want that.
right.
But we are put into that hamster wheel or that machine to make you wanna work towards something that society, family, religion, or whoever your influences are tell you you should desire. Work culture,
What
grind culture, like, what if I don't like
alcohol
that?
culture too.
Oh my good
It's
like,
all tied
all of
into
the
it. It's like
things. So how did you define work? How did you like, your core value system that was either taught to you or you were conditioned to aspire to, what were those definitions and how did that change once you got clarity or moved away from it?
Yeah, so when I lived in New York, my relationship with work was like, what can I do to make me the most money? Everything
Mm,
was centered around money. And I'm still unlearning this, like how to find abundance in money, how to feel good whether I have it or not. But when
mm,
I moved abroad, I had to redefine work. And it's going to sound crazy, but ironically, I had to remove money, like remove it completely. How do I want to show up? Period. Like, what am I willing
mhm,
to do for free? What am I willing
mm,
to do just because off the wake up? This is like what's going to be fulfilling for me. This is great for me. And it always led back to helping people. It always led back to helping people heal, helping people find themselves, helping people meet who they are halfway through habits, through diet, through their relationship with time and their bodies. That's ultimately what I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to inspire people and help people. So I was like, okay, being that this is what I want to do anyway, let's add money back in. Money gotta come second.
mm. Yeah.
So, the irony in that though is that's when money comes.
Listen, I don't think it's ironic at all, and it's interesting that you said that, and I had a moment, I was like, "Ooh, you speaking to me," um, because that's one of the things I asked my therapist to help me with in future sessions is to help me, face my unhealthy relationship with money. Because money like, I came to
Let's talk
this
about it.
realization maybe a year or 2 ago because I was just like, "What is it about it?" Like, I am a worker bee. There are passions of mine that I do for free. I don't if the money comes, it comes, but I realize what those passions are, and I'll do it regardless. So money is not my motivator. Where some people it
Yeah.
is, and being forced to make it your motivator I've always had a disconnection from that. Um, Even
Mhm.
when you like, I've gone through so many phases as a creative, but like with painting, I would showcase my art in a gallery and I would be asked, "Oh, so how much do you want to charge for this?" I don't have a dollar amount. Like I did it because it was creative expression. And I now that I've completed it, I'm releasing it into the world. I don't know. I've been told that I grossly
Yeah.
undersell myself, even with contracting jobs. I love event planning and organization. So
We
it's
could
like,
talk about that.
oh, how
Just as far
much
as being
what
a
is your
black woman,
oh my
being a
and then
black
that on
woman,
top
like
of it, and the imposter syndrome and all of the things compounded, but also at the root of it, money has tied to a lot of my foundational needs not being met growing up, like having to move a lot. Like, so money, I've always had a very unhealthy and like toxic relationship in the sense of I was told and forced to chase it. I don't want it in that way, and it also has greatly impacted me in negative ways too, of like the
yeah.
scarcity of it has impacted my livelihood, has impacted access,
Yeah.
has impacted delaying dreams because I had to start
Mhm.
working full time, so like it's always been around me, but it hasn't been something that I desired or my ultimate desire is freedom and ability to do and go wherever I wanna go, but I know that money is one
Mhm.
of the ways that I need one of the resources I need in order to fulfill and actualize those things.
Mhm.
So
No,
how have you
absolutely.
seen other cultures or countries, like, what is it like for the people there? Like, what is their relationship with money? And then have you adopted some of that to help with your healing?
Yeah. Okay, so I do want to say something about you mentioning like the money was something that you have to chase because I used to feel the same way. And sometimes
Mhm.
I do have pockets where I feel that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, I think though, when we start feeling like money is something we have to chase, it subconsciously tells us that money is away from us, that
Mm.
money is something that we have to go get. When I feel like money on an energetic level is just a form of abundance, and we already exude that in how we show up and how we create and how we are like maternally always creating and doing and being. So I
Mhm.
recognize like if money is energy and I'm energy, I just need to shift my energy to get more energy. And when I started thinking of it like that, I was like, "Oh, I need to," because another thing too is I like to trick my mind into,
You
like,
better
thinking I
add
have money.
financial expert and energy
It's
shifter
a
and
ener
healer to that bio, because you done some just aligned for me.
Yeah, yeah, because everything is a part of our diet,
Mm.
and our relationship with things is how we feed ourselves. Everything, our mindset, how we think about things feeds us or takes us away or starves us. Like,
Ooh.
everything feeds us. But when I went to Costa Rica, that was like one of my first solo trips ever. So Costa Rica is such a special place in my heart. I like to go there once a year. I went on a coffee tour, and I think I went like not at a good time because I went
Mm.
around like I was just kind of messing up the times the entire time when I was in Costa Rica. I kept doing everything late because I kept
Um,
rushing. I was rushing. I came from New York. I came from gotta get out and then just entered this space with like rushing energy. So I was running
mhm.
late to a coffee tour. And the coffee tour started at around like 9 a.m. and I got there around 12. So I was
Oh.
doing other stuff in the morning. Like I took a class, I bike ride, I spoke to a local, I was doing other things. But I was like, oh, I gotta do my coffee tour. I go to the coffee tour at like 12:30, and everybody's gone. Everybody's gone, and I already
Mm.
seen it online that they're open until 4 p.m. So I was just like, "Oh, how is everybody going?" And all the workers leave to go home and have
Mm.
lunch with their family.
Wow. Isn't that fiesta, right? Or do they call it something different?
I don't know. I think they do call it that. I'm not too sure.
I feel like that started like in Spain, and there's a lot of Latin countries that adopt that too. That's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
but they went home. But they
Mhm.
went home to go have lunch. Like, we are so used to bringing your lunch to work. We're so used to multitasking while eating. You eating a
Mm,
sandwich, you still on the computer, you taking your lunch during work. We're so used to doing, and
mm,
not being present, not being aware of things, not just enjoying eating and being with family. And I just felt like that was such a beautiful way to get back to the basics. Because I think about this a lot too, and this could be morbid, but I always think about like any day could be our last day.
oh, for
And
sure.
if I think about that a lot, and I'm working on that in therapy because my therapist is like, come on, like you're gonna see
L
tomorrow sometimes. And I'm like, you don't know that.
Listen, I can relate with that.
Yeah, so I'm constantly thinking about what if I'm no longer here and what I
Mm,
want my last day to be. I was on the computer eating lunch. Like I wasn't
damn,
mindful. I wasn't and spending time with the things that actually matter to me, which is my family and my friends and my
yeah.
community. That matters so much to me more than anything. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta make time for that every single day, no matter what. So it taught me a
Did
lot, and that's their relationship out there. It's family. It's number one in Latin America.
so through your travels, well, I would say in the beginning, when you started to see, like, the other cultures and experience, like, their way of life, did you immediately feel defensive or any kind of resistance before embracing it?
Okay, so
Because it's
at
such a
first,
polar opposite from what you're used to. So,
yeah,
like, it's different when we go on vacations and things. We're like, "Oh, we're just here for the week," or "We're here for, the little weekend or whatever," but to stay for longer periods of time or potentially moving there for a bit, that's a big adjustment.
it's such a big adjustment. And I think when I first moved to Mexico, I was just experiencing so much burnout that it was really
Mm,
challenging for me to have the energy to get up and up online on social media or just to
mm,
even show up on my clients. Like I had to like cut half of my workload because I just was like, I'm so burnt out from New York. I need to redefine what restoration looks like. And I don't know if it's pouring right now. So I would say like that shift from like burnout to being able to work again, it took a lot of like just recovery. But as far
Mm,
as that adjustment of like the actual culture and what I'm used to, because I was burnt out, there were parts of me that was like, oh, I can't wait to relax. I love that there were certain parts of me that was just like, oh my God, I love this. But then I'm not gonna lie, there's certain parts that's inconvenient because even in Costa
mhm,
Rica, I was like, why they off? I paid for this. What's going on? And then also too, even in Mexico, they take their time. If you're going out to
mm,
eat at a restaurant, they take forever to give you the bill. And in my mind, my New York mind, I'm thinking like, first off, you don't want to get paid. And then my second thought is if you give me the check, you can sit someone else down and get more
yeah,
money.
flip the
You
table.
could just yeah, you could flip it. You can just keep getting money if you were just in a little bit more of a rush, but that's not important to them. They're watching you engage with your friends, your family, your community, and they're letting you do that. They're not in a rush to make you uncomfortable to leave. And I'm so not used to that. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, look at you wanting me to be present.
and I'm sure they are too, engaging with the locals. A lot of families work together, especially in restaurant establishments and things, so it's like it deeply encourages quality over quantity. But
That's
yeah, I would
exactly
struggle.
it.
I crave, like, even with vacations, I didn't really vacation a lot growing up. We had family trips and things, but I never really truly knew what rest and relaxation meant. So having just learning to create that for myself, like any cruises that I go on or any future vacations, I don't see myself booking a bunch of excursions. Like I know people, I'm like, those are more trips than a vacation. For me, I
For
like
real.
knowing what activities are available. I like the option of opting in. But for the most part, I
With the
just want to
default
chill
being opting
out.
out.
Listen, it's just like I wanna be invited to things, but just know Imma cancel because present day Chris thinks that it's gonna be an amazing time, but future Chris is gonna be like, "No, I don't wanna do
I
anything
need to
today."
rest.
Which country, either through your travels or you living in, helps you redefine those core foundational things and what has become more important to you than others?
Yeah. So here's another thing too, because like I feel like I'm gonna speak for myself. I feel like being from New York, I kind of just have this intense relationship with scarcity. Like it's just always,
Mhm, I do.
it yeah,
It's
it
never
just tends to
enough.
just
It's running
it's
away. We're chasing it. That's why you're chasing the
it's
paper. Like we're literally chasing it.
It's never enough. It's never enough. So my first time being in Costa Rica, I was like just resting a lot and I just was really tired. Even like recently when I moved to Mexico, I was like, oh my God, I'm tired. I'm tired. And I felt so guilty so often because I was just like, who comes to a country to rest? Who does
Mm,
that? I could rest at home. Who pays and gets on a flight to make sure that they're not seeing the country, seeing the people, engaging
mhm,
constantly. Like there's so much of the world. And I told myself I wanted to see the world, but why is
mhm.
it that I just want to sit on this bench or I just want to be on the beach all day? Why is that the case? And I had to tell myself, like, this is not the last time you'll be in Costa Rica. It ain't gonna pick up and leave. Like
That
it's
part.
nothing's leaving us.
Mm,
So it's like, I can always come back. So it's just like, I had to really pivot out of this, like, this is gonna be the end all be all. This is my only opportunity.
yeah,
No, it never gave that. It never gave that. It never gave this or that. Like it gave, I can rest and come back.
yeah.
So I'm realizing that. And yeah, and I also think because I am realizing that, that has translated into so many other ways. Like when I first moved to Mexico, I was like, oh, I'm only going to order one thing. Cause in my mind, I was like, oh, that's all I can afford. But now I order the
Mm,
salad and the fries, the calamari and the tacos. You don't realize how much of that is like a space of you don't have to pick and things doesn't
yeah.
have to give or and it's relieved so much anxiety. I used
Mm,
because I get anxious around decisions and I'm always just like, oh, trying to
Girl.
maximize every decision because I'm so used to trying to like pick the best decision for the best bang of my buck.
Mhm.
You don't gotta do that in other cities and other countries. You don't have
Yeah.
to feel like a decision is choking you. Every decision you make is probably gonna be a good decision because if it's not, it's gonna show you what a good decision is. So it's just like, I'm just having so much, like when you ask me, oh, what is blossoming? What does blooming look like in a season for you? It's self trust around my decisions and trusting that every decision I make is going to be an extension of abundance. No matter which way it unfolds, it's always going to be abundance. And I had a really hard time trusting that when I lived in New York.
I feel like you need to get out of my brain.
I'm taking up space, right? I ain't even paying rent. I'm
I
just
just I
in your
just
brain.
I just thought that I was hiding that, and then you just, like, called me out, and I don't know how I
Oh,
feel. But
yeah.
I feel like you're
We,
calling me in, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I honestly, that's my correlation with money and then, like, even, how I define success for myself, like, figuring out what my actual motivators are, and trying to free myself from that scarcity mindset because I have always felt misalignment from that, even the scarcity mindset. But it
right.
sometimes feels ridiculous, especially when you see a future for yourself and the quality of life that you wanna have and how disconnected it is from your current reality. I always like to use those words consciously. Um but then when everyone is around you doing it, you feel like you're nuts going, against the grain, but this is just the people that I've been exposed to here. Like, I haven't been to much countries. I do have a passport I'm waiting to get stamped. If they stop doing that, it's very frustrating. I hope they go back to it. But, uh, but
Yeah.
even in that, I can re making decisions, it just feels like you just can't fuck up.
And I
Yeah.
do want to say though, I think a lot of us are addicted to anxiety. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
we are addicted to it. I think that there are parts of us that crave stimulation and consistent stimulation because we don't know what it would look like for just peace and
Mhm,
regulation. We don't know what that feels like. It's foreign to us, and anything that's foreign to us makes us a bit uncomfortable. So I think that sometimes foreign things get you excited, but after a while it's like, I don't know. So I
mhm.
think that we have to have a better relationship with regulation. A lot of people love to say, "Oh, peace is boring." That's okay. Be bored. When the
There's
last
so
time
many
you've been
studies saying
bored?
that your brain actually needs you to be bored in order to
And
process
me
things properly. Like, you need to just have periods of doing nothing. You mentioned this in you have another video where you talk about creative wellness, and that for me, I was like, "Ooh, and it
Mhm.
all comes together for me, because I got asked recently about, like, my creative process, and I made this connection that I tend to be more creative, like, in the winter seasons just because, um, just in the house, like, all of the things we mentioned, and I'm very nostalgic. Nostalgia definitely helps to fuel make me tap into little Chris who loves like her imagination is her playroom. So I just get back into that wave, but anything winter, cozy, nostalgic, like that is the foundation of my creativity. But I never considered the creative wellness aspect of it. And you did talk about that. So can you explain some more to the Bloonies about creative
Yeah,
wellness?
absolutely. So everything comes back to diet. Everything comes back to
Mm,
diet. And if there's anything I would want anybody to take away from this is that I do believe and I know that everything comes back to diet. Everything comes back to the way we feed ourselves. And when you are not creative, it stunts so many emotions that need exploration, and we search for that in other ways. All of us are all emotional eaters. Everyone's an emotional eater in one way or not. It's about knowing who you are as an emotional eater, knowing what your triggers are. And because we are all emotional eaters, when we are not having or tapping into childlike joy, when we're not
Mhm.
creating things, because we're all naturally nurturing. So we should be creating things, whether it's a project or it's something like a book or coloring. We should always be creating something, even if it's creating a home. And you're like, this is the furniture that I want. Cleaning is a part of creating. It's creating space. Like
Mhm.
everything, we should just consistently be creating. When we are not doing that, we are stifling ourselves. And because we are stifling ourselves, we're going to eat foods that reinforce our stifling energy because we're not getting it out in other ways. So, 9 times out of 10, people who seek very salty and crunchy foods, if you find you are always, always, always craving something salty and something crunchy and something fried, 9 times out of 10, you are frustrated, aggravated. You probably need to have a conversation that you haven't had or you know you need to have, and you just are scared to do it or nervous to do it. And most importantly, you need to be creating something. You need to be doing something that is fun and light and childlike because ultimately you're craving adventure. So
Mhm.
you have to be doing something. All of our cravings speak to us too, like sugar and bread. We're usually seeking intimacy and affection and touch and childlike nourishing. So sometimes we might need some parental support, but if you do not have that, you have to learn how to parent yourself. And that looks like doing more childlike joys, nostalgic things like you mentioned,
Mhm.
playing with little ones. So things like that, like it all affects the way we eat and the foods that we go and grab. So yeah, I would definitely recommend like creative wellness is such a huge pillar. When I first was getting certified in holistic nutrition, there's 12 pillars of wellness. So I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, that was such a beautiful thing to learn, and everything is a part of our diet. I would say that there's 13, but
Okay.
there are 12. Yeah, there are 12 different pillars of it. So it is very, very important.
So, have you identified those pillars in the other cultures that you've experienced? Like, is that just part of their natural way of being? And do you mind talking about that?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because I feel like, um I've all right. So when I first started studying nutrition, I was kind of obsessed with the healthiest countries in the world. I
Mhm.
just was studying blue zones back to back. I was just like, oh my God. And for a really long time, Mexico was number one, from a space
Oh,
of like just how they eat. Now it's America. Within the last 4 years, it's been America. Yeah. So
I
it's,
always thought it was Mediterranean, like one of the Mediterranean countries.
no, no, no. I mean, oh, you thought they were the unhealthiest?
No, oh, never mind. I misunderstood. I thought it was in terms of healthiest. I was like, whoa.
Oh,
No,
no,
no, no,
no, no,
no.
no.
So,
Yeah, no.
okay, yeah, yeah, America for sure. We are. It's terrible here.
Yeah, we have a very interesting relationship with food and capitalism, and even the way our standard meals are structured, it's designed to make us sick.
Mm.
That is a whole nother conversation. I could really get into my conspiracy theorist bag, but
Listen, I always say,
yeah,
listen, some conspiracy theories come from truths or can be proven. You know what I mean? Especially with the black
absolutely.
community. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, like basically everything kind of comes back to it. And I think the most important thing we can all do is figure out who we are as an emotional eater. Like
Mm.
recognizing like, oh, I notice this. I notice when I'm sad, I want cake or I'm craving pancakes first thing in the morning. Or I notice when I am frustrated, I am really craving something crunchy, like some good potato chips with extra salt, or like I'm craving something that's going to like release the tension in my jaw. Things like that, like paying attention to what certain cravings are really telling you about your life, because 9 times out of 10, it's not food that we need to be eating. If you're consistently frustrated, this is where you dance, create a routine. This is where you play and get more fun and creative and redefining what play looks like for you. Sometimes we have
Mm.
trauma around play. Like, sometimes we have trauma around play too. Like every time we tried to create something, someone came in and said it wasn't good. Or sometimes we have a lot of trauma around that, and like allowing you to just put out bad work, things like that. So it's
Mm.
just, Yeah, so it matters and it feeds us in a way that stops us from grabbing certain foods that we know future us is not gonna like. Because 9 times out of 10, we feel guilty afterwards. We don't even feel good. And it's always usually too, like 2 hours later.
And if you throw in the binge eating aspect of it,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
tricky.
Absolutely. And binge eating stems from it stems from a lot of things, but it also one thing that plays a role in it is our lack of regulation. Like,
Mhm.
not knowing portion sizes and not but also not portion sizes only in food, portion sizes in life. Not knowing when to pause on social media. Not knowing, like,
Mm.
when certain friendships don't feel good and you know that, because that's the T. In our 30s, we know that. We know the vibes. We know
Yeah.
what we don't like, but we still do it.
Again, I think it all stems to what you've mentioned before, scarcity. So if somebody is wanting to really tackle their creative wellness and set the foundation, and they are open to traveling more because for whatever reason, um, they just certain countries, certain cities, they just kind of like signal something in you. And I am very beginner when it comes to astrocartography. It's something that I'm looking into more and open to exploring the places that sometimes you just align with. What would that beginner process look like for somebody wanting to explore solo traveling or just moving abroad?
I would say first thing you wanna do is, like, focus on how you wanna feel. Like, so for me, when I first started traveling, I know we say this idea of freedom, but freedom could be so vague. It's like, where do you start with freedom? Like, is it freedom to
Hmm.
do nothing? Is it freedom to do something? So I like to, like, put a little subcategory under that, and for me, it was adventure. So once you kinda get the root of how you wanna feel, whether it's adventure, whether it's just restoration and you wanna sleep, then I like to look up countries that honor that, like the most adventurous countries or things that you can do that's adventurous. It's a lot of things kinda that I do afterwards because I like to pay attention to flight times. I personally
Mm,
don't like to be on an airplane for longer than 7 hours,
okay.
and if I am on a plane for longer than 7 hours, I would like to be there for a few weeks or months. So, yeah, when I did Africa and, yeah, certain countries, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be here for a while." So it just is a little different, but aside from, like, the logistics of a flight, the next thing I like to do is research that weather. Like a lot of people don't know that, but research that weather. A lot of countries have a rainy season or a
Mm,
hurricane season or a tornado
mm,
season. Research that weather. So many people host retreats. I just got invited to a retreat in Bali, and I'm like, you know, that's rainy season, right? Like, not the vibe sometimes. Maybe in certain tropical
mm,
places, but like you have to read the room on that. Like, do I want to wear rain boots every day? So just kind of like getting clear on the vibe you want to go for, and after you get clear on the vibe, look up how far that's gonna be, and then after that, what the weather gonna be like, and really,
mhm,
really, really practice that. I wish somebody would've told me that. First 2 times I went to Costa Rica, it was during rainy season. So I would say that,
mm,
and the last thing I would say that's so important is to find an excursion that the locals do. You know, I know
mm,
it's so easy for us to go to places and we're like, I want to get on the balloons and I want to go on this very popular TikTok slide. And it's so easy for us to want to do TikTok friendly and social media cool things. But I love to ask the locals what they like to do for fun. What
yeah.
do you like to do? Where do you like to go? What do you like to eat? Where's your favorite places? And kind of like stem from there so you can get like a cute little moment where you got to be a local for the day.
And it's authentic, and you definitely have to approach traveling abroad or traveling anywhere really with an open mind and an open heart to really connect. Because a lot of things we maintain surface of like, oh, this is gonna look good. This is gonna, we're curating the vision board without actually feeling it. And I'm guilty of taking pictures and videos, but because I like to, again, nostalgia, I like to go back and flip things and remember it. But it's even better when you were actually in the moment, so much so that you forget to capture it.
Mhm.
So, for somebody seeking your
Mhm.
services, or what services do you currently provide? to your
So right now
clients?
I have a one-on-one holistic nutrition consultation. This looks like 60 minutes of us talking about your current relationship with food, your lifestyle habits, and how you manage your time. That's mostly what it is and what your wellness goals are. And before that, I send over a health history form. You fill that out, and these questions are a bit high mileage. They are high
Okay.
mileage questions. We're going to talk about your childhood. We're going to talk about what you ate during childhood, and we're
Mm,
also going to talk about how you eat now. And there are usually some congruences between the two. And I also talk about when the best time you've ever felt in your life is. A lot of people
ooh.
say high school
Mhm. I
and
had a great high
college.
school experience, I did.
Yeah, yeah, and we have to pay attention to what the common denominators in that was in high school. Was it structure?
Mm,
Was it your friends? Was it getting away from home? Was like just what was the common denominators in that, and how can we translate that into adulthood? So those things are really important. I also offer group coaching. I have a
okay.
ton of ebooks on my website. So I have a
Nice.
sugar detox program, and it's like back-to-back ebooks that also have videos. I have a gut detox program with videos and recipes on how to make gut-friendly meals. It is, and I want to be honest about this, it's not one of those gut detox where you're going to feel better in 1 or 2 days. It is a gut detox where I am helping you train your body to have better daily habits, so it is a
Mm,
practice. It gives rituals and it gives tapping into a practice every single day. It's not a one-off type of situation. It really is, how is your sleep? What does your morning routine look
mm,
like? How are you starting the day? What does digestion look like for you? Like we're going there. We're going there. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, in 3 days you're not gonna have bloating. I'm saying you have to recognize which foods are causing the bloating and how to
yeah.
add more digestive friendly foods to the foods that you love that cause the bloating, and when to scale back on the foods that cause the bloating. Because certain seasons we shouldn't be eating certain things. So just having a better
Mm,
relationship with your body and with your food and understanding it, because I am also not one of those people that's like, you need to eat your broccoli, your kale, your spinach. No, you need to pay attention to what foods are actually giving you energy and which one are taking it away, so we can create a personal compass for you. That's the thing. A lot of dietitians and a lot of nutritionists like to get on the internet and say, you need to eat A, B, and C. And I think we need to be paying attention to what feeds us the most.
because that looks like that's something different for everybody.
It's different for everyone. That's why you can't get on this internet and say everybody needs to be eating A, B, or C. Once, and
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way. I learned that my first year in nutrition coaching. I once told a
Mm,
client to eat a lot more broccoli, a lot more spinach, bloating her up.
um,
So it's you have to pay attention. The only thing that you really need to do is keep a food journal and pay attention to what
mm.
you're eating and how things feel.
How much of, food preparation impacts that? Because, I mean, a lot of us do live in food deserts, so is it possible to gain digestive health, like better digestive health with what is available to you?
I think it depends on what's available to you. Um,
Mm,
if there's fruits and vegetables in the building, yes. If
okay.
there's lemon, ginger, cardamom, black pepper in the building, yes. But from my experience with working with people in food deserts, what's the closest thing near them is Chick-fil-A and McDonald's
Mm.
and a Waffle House
Mhm.
and things like that. So it
Or
is really,
affordable
really, really,
too.
yeah. Yeah, which is really tough. And healthy food is very affordable, but it's not if you don't know what you're doing. Like if you just buy all these healthy groceries and then you bring them home and you're like, "Oh my God, I don't know what to make. I don't know what to do. Like, where do I start?" Then your food is going to go bad. And everybody
Yeah.
has experienced that before,
Oh,
having
yeah.
this intent to eat good. And then you don't, because you also didn't build a habit of meal prepping. You didn't build a habit of having a better relationship with time, with energy
Mm.
management. Because that's the thing. In order to eat better, you have to have a better relationship with time. I encourage my clients to focus on time before anything. Because you can buy all these fruits and vegetables, but if you're not making the time to meal prep, if you're not making the time to cook, it's quiet.
So from working with your clients and those that struggle with time, a lot of us do. What is the first exercise or practice you have them do when their answer is I'm just tired. I don't we never think that we have time, but we will make time for our indulgences or for something else. I mean, we will sacrifice sleep to make
Mhm.
time for the things that we want. But if somebody is wanting to start their wellness journey, but honestly does not have the capacity mentally and emotionally to find the time, what do you have them start?
First things first, we need to change our dopamine and serotonin receptors. So essentially, when we think we don't have time, it is because we're usually on the phone. And the phone has a blue light system as well as the TV. It has a blue light system that increases our cravings and it constantly feeds our body to feel like we ate when we didn't. So you're getting food, you're getting food, you're getting food, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. It is telling our
Yeah.
bodies that we're getting something when we're not. We are
Mm,
not. So we have to change that. So first things first is I ask all my clients to always write down what you're eating. And when I say eating, I mean food. So write down what you ate, how much you ate, what time you ate, and then also how do you feel after you eat. I like to add it in depending on if they're like really heavy emotional eaters. I like to add in write down how you feel before you eat as well. Because if you start
mm,
to pay attention 5 minutes before I eat, I was just bored. Or 5 minutes before I ate, I was just anxious. I was nervous about this. Or 5 minutes before I eat, I was so, so, so hungry. Now we're gonna start talking
mm.
about time. Because time is gonna also show us the different levels of hunger. There's emotional hunger, eye hunger, and stomach hunger. So it's gonna like show us like what kind of hunger is firing up before you eat certain things.
I never heard of eye hunger, but that makes sense because you often
Yeah.
people choose large portion sizes because they eat with their eyes, like the buffet culture, like all of this food available. Like, wow, I
After
never
work
heard that term.
meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So real quick, the way you can always tell the difference between each one is eye hunger is mostly when you just see it. You
Mm,
just see it and you're like, "Oh, you weren't even hungry." You was just like, "Oh, I'm hungry now that I see it." And certain foods speak more to us through eye hunger. Like a lot of us, depending on what your food conditioning is, tend to get eye hunger around things that have a very robust smell and things that are carby. So we'll see like potatoes or bread or pasta, and we're like, okay, now we're hungry because we saw it. Now, eye hunger is also very, very immediate, as in you see it and now you're hungry.
mm.
Now, as far as emotional hunger is called heart hunger, and heart hunger is usually because you are feeling something and it's also very, very immediate. But the thing that's different about heart hunger versus eye hunger is heart hunger is very specific. You are hungry for something very specific. A feeling came over you and you only want that one thing.
Mm.
Like if you have heart hunger and you're craving pizza, you're not gonna have, like, a salad and feel that heart hunger being fulfilled.
No,
You
we're
know,
still
like,
looking for
it's
something
that's
sweet.
and
People.
carby. We need
Hmm.
that. We're looking around for it, and we will do
Yeah.
whatever we need to do for it. We'll spend a lot of time on DoorDash for that. That DoorDash and our relationship with ordering
And
out
blindly
also
spending so much money on it. Like, why am I paying
blindly.
$30?
Yep,
But the
because it
craving
has to
feels
do with
real.
time. Yeah, the craving feels real, and it also goes back to time because we know that
Mhm.
if we order this, it's on its way to us and somebody else is making it. We don't have to
Mm,
get up and go into the fridge. So it everything kind of goes back to like time and what we think is convenient when future us, it's not convenient for future us. Uh, Everything costs something too.
yeah.
So yeah, and then stomach hunger, which is physical hunger, that builds through time. It's the only hunger that isn't immediate. Hour by hour, minute by minute, it's getting stronger and stronger. And the beautiful thing about physical hunger is you can eat anything and feel good. Anything. So
Mm,
physical hunger is anything that's in front of me, I could eat it and it feel it's not specific. It's not like I need this one thing.
yeah.
And we will always want to have a better relationship with physical hunger. Because when we are always physically hungry and we'll eat anything in front of us, now that you got things in the fridge, you got your kale,
You'll be
spinach,
more
broccoli in the
inclined to eat that,
fridge.
yeah.
So it's about
So
building a better relationship with your body and knowing which hunger is firing up.
so for somebody who and I'll speak so for me, if I was a client of yours, I did grow up eating vegetables. I'm not opposed to it, but I don't prepare it as often for myself or I haven't found methods in which I like. So then I'm always like, "Oh, I meal prep this. I know I should be eating it, but then in the moment I'm gonna order something else or do something else with that."
Mhm.
So, in addition to the journaling, the trigger mapping is something that you've mentioned in your videos, which closely ties to the
Mhm.
heart cravings or the heart hunger
Mhm.
of like, I felt something because I was triggered in this way, therefore I'm now craving this versus what I've meal prepped. What is a
Mhm.
good method or what is an approach to kind of help you address the trigger or identify which hunger you're experiencing and then making a conscious decision from that?
Mhm. Yeah, so because you're already at this point, like journaling and like you're kind of getting a, we're both getting a clear idea on what you like to eat. When it comes down to eating healthier, you have to meet yourself halfway. So if you know for a fact that you love a carb, you love a rice, we're gonna have to meet your love for rice with something healthier. So this is where we
Mhm.
add in broccoli, but more than just broccoli, let's add in zucchini and grape tomatoes and carrots and make it a lot more nutrient dense. Have your rice, have your pasta, have your potatoes, have the things that you absolutely love, but let's meet it halfway with more nutrients. Always, and more antioxidants. Always. You love sugar? You love ice cream? Let's add frozen bananas to your ice cream. Let's add frozen strawberries to your ice cream. Like just always adding something healthy to the things that you love that aren't the healthiest. The more you do that, it will shift your cravings. The more you do that, you will
Mhm.
start to crave the things that are better. So I would say that's the first thing. The second thing that's so important is to eat on a rhythm. Eat around the same time every single day because
Mhm.
the more you eat at sporadic times and it's random, the more cravings are going to build and you're not going to have a good relationship with your cravings. So if you eat at the same time every single day, you know that you're going to have to eat something. And it's less like, I don't want to eat this, but it's more because you've built the discipline around eating more structured and at
Mhm.
a specific time that that muscle of discipline is going to fire up and you're going to eat what you prepared because you know you gotta eat at that time.
Yeah.
So I would say that and also eating on a schedule, it's great for stabilizing your blood sugar, so you're not having as intense cravings on a scientific level, and then
Yeah.
also it's great for nervous system regulation. Knowing that your body doesn't have to be like, when the next time Imma eat, or she on this phone all day and then she gonna order the pizza or the carbs or order this later. Like, no, no, your body is already like, "Ooh, I know we eat every day at 7:30, and then tomorrow gonna be another
Mhm.
7:30 again." Your body's gonna be like dancing with you with it, excited,
Yeah.
celebratory. Like, so it's different, but I would say the first 2 things are to write down what you're eating, write down your time so you can have a better relationship with both, and then always eat on a rhythm.
I love that because as somebody I struggle with boundaries and I've been working on setting boundaries and in that I've noticed that um I struggle with discipline and having like setting a routine and a healthy routine. And although boundaries have been like, there's been more emphasis for the external, like protecting yourself from people or things that will mess with your way of being. But creating that system of discipline and consistency and routine, I think it will just, like you mentioned, will help regulate your nervous system too, because you know that you're like your non-nego no your non-negotiables even for yourself of like whether you're a breakfast person, I'm not that, but it was just, "Oh, if I've done enough, I should be hungry at this point." And it should, like, help you to, like, fit in
Yep,
what kind of activities, what kinds of it helps to
yep,
start the structure in your day and in your life, and you start to identify what things are important to you or not, because if you do have this routine way of eating, you are gonna be more conscious until it becomes some subconscious about what you're seeking for nourishment. If I know I'm looking forward to
Absolutely.
if lunch and dinner are my main meals, I'm gonna want something good at that time.
Because you have some structure, and it gives
Mhm.
you something to look forward to too. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot that happens on a psychological level and also a physiological level. So
Yeah.
it does make a difference, and then from there, we can start talking about movement, and then
Mhm.
sleep, and then water, and then meditation, and, like, just mind work. Like, everything is a part of the diet, but the first thing we gotta do is have a better relationship with time and create structure.
I love that your approach is addition versus subtraction. I always
Absolutely.
being a heavier, individual since being little, I was victim to, diet culture. I was on Slim Fast, I did the Kellogg's diet, I knew a diet before I even knew what the actual food pyramid was, and it was always coming from with removing. Everybody else was eating this, but you need to eat that, or you need to
Restriction.
eat just yeah, very much so, which led to me being more of an emotional eater and binging to where it's more of a rebellion of like, I don't even want these things, but because you said I can't have it, now I want it. And then just
Right.
how that kinda carries
Right.
on into adulthood, but it's like, I'm not harming anyone but myself because now, if it leads to certain, like, health issues or just an unhealthy relationship with food, and even you saying that everything is a diet, there is such that negative stigma associated with diet where I'm sure that could be a trigger for somebody listening like, "Ooh, I don't wanna think of it as a diet if I
Yeah.
want it to be if I wanna embrace a healthy lifestyle. But I do like that you said you can have the
Yeah.
things that you're craving or the things that, you like. Sometimes yes, you do crave these things, but it also just tastes good. But there's a way to
Mhm.
add nutrients and wellness to it so that you don't feel like you're
Yeah.
depriving yourself of something.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'd love to add another layer to that,
Mhm.
and diet is just the way you eat. That's
Mhm.
all it is, and I know diet gets a lot of stigma around it because it does have this heavy energy around restriction, but a diet is
Mhm.
just the way you eat. It's poor there are poor diets and there are better diets, but another thing I wanna say is that there are no such thing as bad foods. Like,
Mm.
foods cannot be inherently bad or good. It's just our relationship with them. Like, are we consuming, quote, unquote, "certain foods" too much?
Yeah.
And what do we need to be adding more of? So it's less about potatoes are bad. No, they're not, actually. We actually need that energy and to work out, to think for cognitive
Yeah.
function, or like pasta. People love to say pasta is bad. No, what's your relationship like with pasta? Are you having it four
Yeah.
nights a week? Like just let's increase a balance. Let's increase
Yeah.
balance and let's have a more abundant relationship with food. Like I can have this and that. So that's all I really wanted to add is that there's no such thing as bad foods, but there is or bad diets, but there are things like a bad relationship with food. And I
Yeah.
don't even like to say bad, but not
Unhealthy.
let's say poor.
Yeah,
Unhealthy.
poor. Yeah. Well, because you
Let's say
mentioned that
unhealthy.
everything is a diet, so I would put like a little asterisk that maybe diet is just any form of consumption.
That-
So just not just food, it's
You ate
time, it's
that.
people, it's energy, it's even tying back to the money. Like too much money, we often see like how could that be an issue? But of course, too much of anything is just not good for you. So like how to manage that,
Yep.
how to tackle the relationships that we have with the consumption, alcohol, like any kind of thing.
Yeah, and it kinda
Definitely
goes
the
back to what we were
relationship.
saying earlier about having a better relationship with urgency and time.
Mhm.
Like, everything is, like, related, so once you recognize where the interconnectedness is and it all does
Yeah.
come back to you, your body, you start to be a lot more mindful.
For you, would you say that you have a
Yep.
regulated nervous system?
I would say that throughout the week, my nervous system is regulated about 80% of the time.
And what
I
does
think the
that
only
feel like?
time
How would you
ease,
describe that feeling?
um,
Ease, okay.
for sure, but more specifically, ease in my shoulders,
Mhm.
and my neck. That's where I notice I carry stress in my shoulders and my neck. I used to carry a lot of stress in my stomach.
Mhm.
And I've recognized too, like stress kind of moves. Like as you age or like certain habits happen, for a while it was in my gut because I wasn't eating right. But now that I eat a lot better, it's in my shoulders, it's in my body. It's not I carry stress in my neck, really.
Mm.
And because I do carry stress in my neck and my upper body extremities, I need to stretch a lot more, and I recognize I need to meditate a lot more. And the
Mhm.
things that overstimulate me are cities. You have to know your thrive cities too. I'm
Ooh.
like I recognize yeah, you have to know this New York is not my thrive city. I love New York when I have a departure date. And it's just like I need to know when I'm leaving. I like it in the summer, but that's about the only time that I like it. So I feel like if you're gonna have conditions when a city is not really a city. So Mexico City, I love everything about Mexico City. I feel the most peaceful out there. The entire city kind of just forces you to move slow. And
Yeah.
I'm regulated there like 95% of the time.
Wow.
So yeah, so I feel like nervous system regulation does look like where is there less tension in your body? Is there even tension in your body? And it looks like your relationship with time. Like, are you always rushing or are you having like a more organic and fluid and flowing relationship with it? So that's how I could kind of feel when I'm overstimulated.
So it makes you more sensitive to it because you know what regulation is. So anything that throws you off of that, you're like, oh, nope, makes you more aware.
Yeah. I'm off
You know,
road. This not the road we supposed to be on.
yeah, like driving on the highway, like you deviated, now you hitting the bumps. You're like, whoa, 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 get back on track. Yeah, that you're like, oh snap,
Fact.
it's gonna mess up my tires. Jesus, let me get back.
Yes, yes. But what about you? How do you know when you're regulated?
I don't know what that is, which is why I asked you. Unfortunately. Um, I mean, I guess the closest that I can relate it to is the zone of genius, when I feel like I'm
Oh,
operating in a
love that.
space that, is in alignment with my purpose, and for me, that's when I'm doing, any kind of event planning or coordinating, if I'm in that realm, but it's not in a healthy way in terms of, like, I'm not thinking about eating or drinking or whatever, but my soul feels fulfilled. I feel like I'm
Mm,
vibrating very high. So I guess that, because even the stress of that doesn't feel stressful, even though I'm sure my body it is, like, after.
mhm.
But, I'm looking for more ease. I'm not good at feeling ease. Um, so that's something that I feel I don't know why I associate that with travel, but I want to create that in my space. I wanna curate ease and relaxation and nervous system regulation in my immediate environment so that I can build up that
Yeah.
nervous, system memory, that muscle memory so that I can really ultimately grounding. I wanna feel grounded so that I can be in that space wherever I am, regardless of the external circumstances. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah. You mentioned earlier that you love curating a space though.
I
So
do.
I just
I
yeah.
do. Yeah. I
What kind of
just,
spaces do you like to curate?
so my ultimate goal, which is my current 5 to 9, outside of the 9 to 5, I wanna create safe spaces for, Black creatives to express themselves freely, and it's immersive experiences, so when you said immersive, I was like, "Ah, that's me." Like, I want to curate an environment that taps into all of the senses, that is judgment free,
Mm,
that is music, that is art, that is fashion, that is so I like turning blank spaces into beautiful environments that you can get lost into and just be fiercely,
I
beautifully, and
love
boldly Black.
that.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I love that so much. Please let me know the next time you're doing an event or an immersive experience. I want to come.
Yeah.
I fly out like
Oh,
immediately.
absolutely, absolutely.
I agree. I agree. But I do love New York. There are things that I'm like,
I
I love Black
know.
people. and I like the way we
Listen.
smell, and I like the way we dress, and I need to see that. Like, and I'm not gonna lie,
Yes.
Mexico, I don't dress up. I don't dress up. I don't really like take
Yeah.
it there. Out here, New York gives it makes you feel like you should take it there.
Y
You should like really look good and take care
yeah.
of your presentation. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
I don't feel like that nowhere else because nowhere else is really that important. But out here it's
Mhm.
important and I think I like that though. So like
That
kind of
see, that's what I'm
recognizing like, okay,
saying.
being that
That was the tricky part. That's why I had asked about, like, the grieving aspect of, like, shedding away, like, the bad parts that we also are so proud of as being native New Yorkers, because there is a twisted beauty
mhm.
in that
It is,
and
but I have a weird
sustenance in
relationship with the
that.
relationship of true, true. But I
Yeah.
have a weird relationship with the word grief around it because
Okay.
when I hear grief, I'm thinking dead. I'm thinking
Yeah.
dead. Like I'm thinking
Yeah.
we're mourning something dead. And I don't know if it's dead. Like I just feel like certain seasons I want to pick that back up, and certain seasons no. Certain seasons
Okay,
does
so you
not
better
give
en
care
you
about
better
what you wear.
enlighten me because I too have that, association with grief being the end of life or the death of something, but ultimately there is a
Right.
loss, but I like your perspective of it's not necessarily a loss, maybe it's just a switching.
It's a switching, and I love that term because just the second you said switching, I immediately thought and. All this whole podcast, we've been like
Mm,
and. It's a
yeah.
and. It's this
Mm,
and. So that's how I've been
mm,
feeling about Mexico and New York too, because I'm like, it gotta give and because I love certain things about New York City, and I'm recognizing I need this in other seasons.
exactly.
Certain seasons I don't need it. Certain seasons
Yeah.
I do not need certain things, but other seasons, yeah. You know what? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I get it because that's why I visit as often as I try to because, again, like, you just need that battery charge to, like,
you
carry
need
on
that
or you just
battery
you
charge.
yeah, there is a lot. New York is very immersive in a lot of ways that it'll get overpowering at times because there is so much loud noise, there is so much music, but there is also good music. There is so much to look at. Sometimes there's too many bad things to look at, but then you have the beautiful things to look at. Like, it's just so much of
Oh,
so much. And sometimes you just need
yes.
that in increments
Yes.
just to be like, "Okay, I got it. I'm inspired. Okay, let me carry that on somewhere else." So I'm starting to accept that. It does not mean that I'm denying myself as a New Yorker or turning away from it. I have just acknowledged that I need it in small doses, and that is okay.
It is okay. It is okay because I noticed two other cities not gonna give this. So
Yeah.
it's really
And it
okay.
shouldn't
It's
because
really okay.
that's what makes it amazing and that's what makes those cities amazing is what they have to offer that you can only go there to experience it. And sometimes that's where you want it to be. You need those people and those cultures and that way of being to just be how it is and preserve so that you can go and immerse yourself in that. I don't like when people try to like go places and change it to accommodate them based off of their limited experiences. It's like, no,
What?
be open because you
No.
might need to learn some other way so that you be like, oh, this actually makes me feel good. But there's something
Yeah.
again, is there has to be
Yes.
an ego death that has to happen for people to be more open and embracing change and acceptance. A lot of us struggle
Mhm.
with acceptance because it feels like a betrayal of what we have been made to believe or forced ourselves to believe to think that we want. And it's like, no. Or like we said, it could be this and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. That sense of urgency. Again, there's so much relationship building that we need to do. Urgency, all or
I
nothing.
like the way you brought that into a circle.
Listen,
You brought
we're
that into
gonna
a circle.
listen. That's one thing we're gonna try to do. We're gonna tie it up in a bow. Amen. All right. So tell the
Yes.
bloomies if anybody are you accepting clients or how can they connect with you?
Yes,
How
I
can
am
they
accepting
support you?
clients.
Let us know.
Yes, yes. So I have a website. It's www.arielle, Arielle, Simone, Simone.co. Heavy on the co. A lot of people put com, but it's co. And on the website, you'll be able to have access to a free holistic wellness guide, all of my programs and resources. You can sign up for one-on-one holistic consultations. You can also do a 1-month subscription, 2-month subscription on the website where you just get consistent recipes, and I also follow up with you on your wellness journey. So I offer so many beautiful services that's centered around holistic nutrition and just having a better relationship with food. Check it out. I do have a YouTube channel. My YouTube is so fun. I want to say it's so
It
fun. We
is.
do wellness, we do travel. Thank you. I talk a lot on there. So if you was like, "Oh, she a little vibe," go check that out. And yeah, of course I'm on socials, but I think what's most important to me right now is building my community, off
Absolutely.
socials. Yeah, like off
Absolutely.
the quick socials. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Please do support Arielle. She's awesome. And I wish you all of the best, the most success, safety, protection. Hello? Love.
Thank you.
Because I know that is,
Thank
something that you've
you.
been talking about too. So we're gonna have to get into that next
Yeah, we love
time.
love.
Yes, yes, yes. In
Yes, can
all
I
its
come on again?
forms. Yeah, girl. You let me know when you free, child. I will make time. But
Por
yes, I wish you all
favor.
the best. This has been awesome. And I'm
No, it
so excited.
has.
And I will put every link for how people can support you and follow you in the description of this episode. Thank you so much. All right, Bloomies, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Blooming Lately podcast. All of your listens and all of your support is much appreciated, and I definitely feel the love. Please do follow me on Instagram at Blooming Lately Pod. And again, you can check out the description of this episode and all episodes to get access to the links so you can support and follow any guests that I have on as well. And while you're at it, just leave a little comment, rate the episode, keep the love flowing. Let's keep these blooms blooming. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.